This is what the Russian offensive truly looks like on the battlefield. Waves of armor torn apart in real time under relentless precision strikes. The footage begins with a Russian armored column pushing through open terrain toward Ukrainian defensive lines. Dust clouds rise as tanks advance side by side, laying down a dense smoke screen to obscure movement. But the haze can't hide them for long. Ukrainian FPV drones are already in the air, circling like hawks. The first strike lands squarely on the lead vehicle, followed by another and another. Explosions ripple through the formation. Within seconds, the entire column grinds to a halt. Russian crews abandon their armor, sprinting into nearby fields for cover. Ukrainian artillery commanders seize the opportunity instantly. Coordinates are locked. The immobilized tanks become easy targets. High explosive rounds rain down with devastating precision. One shell after another, the armored convoy is engulfed in fire. Air support joins the assault moments later. A drone operator guides a 5-kilogram explosive charge directly into the weakest point of a BMP. The detonation rips through the vehicle's interior, and a chain reaction follows as stored ammunition cooks off. Nearby, another FPV drone locks onto a tank, delivers its payload, and obliterates it completely. The battlefield is littered with wreckage. Soon after, Ukrainian reconnaissance spots an M3 air defense system worth tens of millions of dollars. Despite Russian efforts to conceal it, the location is relayed in seconds. A HIMARS launcher fires a GMLRS rocket. The projectile hits the target dead center. A blinding flash and the system is gone. Elsewhere, another Russian BMP creeps forward. Its armor is reinforced with barbed wire and electronic jammers, and attempt to block incoming drones. It fails. A Ukrainian FPV drone dives straight into the target, punching through the plating. The blast ignites the interior, and moments later, a massive secondary explosion sends debris flying in all directions.
In another combat moment, started with a stolen radio. Ukrainian soldiers had seized a Russian field radio during combat and began listening in on enemy chatter. Through the static and coded voices, they pieced together the location of Russian troops hiding near a cluster of abandoned buildings on the outskirts of the front. Within minutes, Ukrainian scouts confirmed the coordinates. The unit repositioned quietly, taking cover behind debris and shell-cratered walls. On the intercepted channel, Russian voices continued, unaware they were being tracked in real time. Several Russian soldiers stepped out from behind the ruins, talking casually, completely unaware that Ukrainian rifles were already trained on them. A burst of gunfire tore through the silence. The Russians were caught in the open. In less than 10 seconds, it was over. 3 were down instantly. The rest scattered and vanished behind the structures. But this fight was far from finished.
Then, a larger assault forms, a Russian convoy advancing in full formation. 2 Ukrainian Leopards, hidden among tree lines, wait in silence. Once targets are confirmed, both tanks open fire. The first Russian tank rolls over a mine and detonates instantly. The second takes a direct hit and bursts into flames. The Leopards reload and fire again. 1, 2, 3. Each shot finding its mark. Armored personnel carriers and troop transports erupt in sequence. Infantry scatter in panic, abandoning their vehicles. The Leopards press their advantage. Using high explosive shells, they begin clearing enemy-held buildings near the front line. Every impact tears through concrete and steel. After each volley, the tanks reposition and continue their advance, firing methodically and without pause.
Moments later, the Ukrainian commander ordered a switch in focus to aerial strikes. The plan was simple: exploit the chaos and hit the hidden strongholds using FPV drones. When people talk about game-changing technology on the modern battlefield, this is it. The FPV drone. FPV means first-person view. The operator sees what the drone sees, live, unfiltered, and flies it as if they're sitting inside a miniature attack aircraft. Fast, low, deadly. These are not multi-million-dollar missiles. They're compact quadcopters carrying between 1 and 4 pounds of explosives, shaped charges or fragmentation payloads, powerful enough to rip through a tank's engine deck or blow apart a launcher's fuel cell. What they lack in range, they make up for in speed and precision. Their purpose? Fly in, hit hard, and vanish. A typical FPV strike lasts seconds. Operators launch from forward positions, often just a few hundred yards from the front, and fly at treetop level to stay off radar. The drones dive toward their targets like guided bullets, hitting the weakest points: optics, hatches, or exposed ammunition racks. The result is devastating. When one of these drones strikes an aircraft parked on a strip or a launcher waiting to reload, the explosion can set off a chain reaction of fire and secondary blasts that consume everything nearby.
Tank destroyed. The second follows, another direct hit. Shortly after, the Russian push collapses completely. Even at extended range, roughly 1.5 kilometers, the Leopard's accuracy is lethal. A single well-placed shot reduces a distant tank to burning scrap. The second Russian tank retreats immediately after witnessing the strike. It's hard not to notice how Russian tanks often detonate from just one hit. The reason lies in their internal design: ammunition stored directly beneath the crew compartment. Western tanks, on the other hand, use armored blast doors and ejection panels that redirect explosions outward, dramatically increasing survival chances. In one clip, a Ukrainian Leopard takes an enemy hit. Flames pour out, but this isn't catastrophic. It's a controlled ammunition vent. The crew calmly evacuates through the rear hatch. Another Leopard, struck earlier, still has its turret rotating and systems online, proof of its resilience. These moments reveal the massive difference in protection and survivability between Western and Russian designs. On another front, Russian troops have fortified themselves inside a multi-story building. A Ukrainian Abrams receives the coordinates. The tank steadies its cannon, fires once, a direct hit. The second round completely levels the structure. As the dust settles, a Bradley infantry vehicle rolls in, laying suppressive fire to finish the job. Abrams and Bradley advanced in coordination, clearing each hostile position one by one. Moments later, a Russian tank attempts a counterattack but fails to spot a Bradley lying in wait. The Bradley opens up with rapid fire, striking the tank's flank. Within seconds, the Russian vehicle erupts into flames, disabled and abandoned. Elsewhere, another Bradley encounters a Russian BTR-82A head-on. The Russian crew fires first, but their rounds miss. The Bradley responds with precision bursts, hitting center mass. The BTR stops moving, its turret frozen mid-turn. The brief engagement ends decisively in favor of the Ukrainian crew. This duel, captured near the village of Stepov in the Donetsk region, highlights just how fast reaction time can decide a fight.
Then